Hey guys, let's jump right in. Today we're going to talk about the Cleric class. Let's talk about the Cleric. 2014 Cleric says, a priestly champion who wields divine magic in service of a higher power. 2024 Cleric, a miraculous priest of divine power. Clerics can reach out to the divine magic of the outer planes and channel it to bolster people and battle foes. Super serious. All right. Looking at the beginning stats, we're pretty much the same. Hit die is a D8. Hit point die, same thing, D8. Wisdom, primary ability, and wisdom and charisma. So the first thing in 2014 that they jump into is spell casting. As a conduit of divine power, you can cast cleric spells. Which refers you to the spell rules. For general rules of spell casting, you can cast cantrips. At first level, you know 3 cantrips of your choice from a cleric spell list. The cleric table shows you how many spell slots you have to cast your cleric spells at first level and higher. To cast these spells, you must expend a slot. Okay, I'm not going to cover a lot of this. You get your spell slots back as a long rest. You do, as a cleric, you do prepare a spell list that's available for you to cast. So you have the complete cleric spell list available to you, and you just prepare the spells you want. When you do so, you choose the number of cleric spells equal to your wisdom modifier plus your cleric level. So keep that in mind as we compare. For example, if you're a 3rd level cleric, you have 4 first level and 2 second level spells. With a wisdom of 16, your list of prepared spells can include 6 spells of first level or a second level in any combination. If you prepare the first level spell Cure Wounds, you can cast it using 1st or 2nd level, so you can upcast. Let's see, you can change your list of prepared spells when you finish a long rest. We know that. Spellcasting ability. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for your cleric spells. The power of your spells comes from your devotion to your deity. You use your wisdom whenever a cleric spell refers to your spellcasting ability. In addition, you use your wisdom modifier for setting the saving throw DC for the spell cast when making an attack roll with one. Your spell save DC is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. Your spell attack modifier is your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. All right, let's jump over to the 2024 rules. First thing they mention are core cleric traits. Seeing this is kind of the norm for the 2024 character creator. If we just want to take a quick look at that, it kind of jumps back to some of the things we were talking about. You have core traits for each class. So what it basically refers to is you've got your primary ability, wisdom, hit point die is the D8 per cleric level, saving throw proficiencies, wisdom and charisma, skill proficiencies, history, insight, medicine, persuasion, religion. You can train in light and medium armor and shields, and your starting equipment can be a chain shirt, mace, shield, holy symbol, priest pack, and 7 gold pieces. Or you can start with 110 gold pieces. That's a little bit higher than some of the other classes we've looked at. So let's jump over to looking at apples to apples. We want to look at the spell casting information. So 2024, let's see if there's anything that stands out as different. Cantrips, you know 3 cantrips from your cleric spell list at first level. So let's just come back up here. You know 3 cantrips, so no change there. Whenever you gain a cleric level, you can replace one of your cantrips with another cantrip of your choice. That's a change. 2014, you learn your 3 cantrips, and then you can add on to them. Now, you can actually, whenever you gain a cleric level, you can replace one of your cantrips with another cantrip of your choice. So that's new. You can actually interchange and replace your cantrips at each level as you gain. When you reach cleric levels 4 and 10, you learn another cantrip of your choice from the cleric spell list, as shown in the cantrips. All right, so what they've changed is instead of you just gaining more cantrips as you advance in levels, you can now actually at each level replace them, which is nice, because who hasn't picked a cantrip that you just never use and wish you hadn't picked that when you started? So this allows you to replace it. That's a cool new feature. Spell slots. The Cleric features table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your level 1 plus spells. So your slotted spells. You regain all expended slots when you finish a long rest. Pretty much the same thing. In 2014, the Cleric table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your Cleric spells of first level and higher. It's kind of a rewording of that. Prepared spells of level 1 plus. You prepare a list of level 1 plus spells that are available for you to cast with this feature. To start, choose 4 level 1 spells from the Cleric spell list. You choose a number of Cleric spells equal to your Wisdom modifier plus your Cleric level. The spells must be able to level that you have spell slots. So they've changed that a little bit. Where before, to determine how many spells you received, let's say at first level, it would be based on your Wisdom modifier plus your Cleric level. Now looks like they're just flat out giving you start with 4 level 1 spells from your Cleric spell list. So what that's telling me is purely from a number of spells available to you that you can prepare, 2024 is a little bit more giving on that, in that they, from the start, just give you 4. Because compared to 2014, that would mean you would have to have a spell modifier of 3. So what this tells me is that instead of depending on your modifier to give you more spells, you're going to get 4 to begin with. So let's see. It says, so to start, you choose 4 level 1 spells from the Cleric spell list. The number of spells of your list increases as you gain Cleric levels, as shown in the prepared spells column of the Cleric features table. Whenever the number increases, choose additional spells from the Cleric spell list until the number of spells on your list matches the number on the table. The chosen spells must be of a level for which you have spell slots. For example, if you're a level 3 Cleric, your list of prepared spells can include 6 spells of levels 1 and 2 in any combination. If another Cleric feature gives you spells that you always have prepared, like a subclass gives you subclass spells, those spells don't count against the number of spells you can prepare with this feature, but those spells otherwise count as Cleric spells for you. So it's still, unless it says otherwise, basically, unless it says at will, it's still going to count against the number of spell slots that you use that you have available to you. Changing prepared spells. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can change your list of prepared spells, replacing any of the spells with other Cleric spells which you have spell slots. Same thing. At the end of a long rest, you can look at the complete Cleric list of spells and replace them. Spellcasting ability. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for Cleric spells. You know that. Spellcasting focus. You use a holy symbol as a spellcasting focus for your Cleric spells. All right. One thing it doesn't talk about here, and maybe it'll talk about later, in 2018, it speaks of ritual casting. You can cast a Cleric spell as a ritual if that spell has a ritual tag and you have the spell prepared. The benefit of casting a spell as a ritual spell has always been you don't use a spell slot for that. It takes 10 minutes plus some additional time, but it's always been a benefit. I'm not sure why they don't talk about it yet here, so we'll dig in a little bit and see if ritual spells are mentioned later. So let's move on to first level. We're talking about in 2014, they have what is called a Divine Domain. And under Divine Domain, you choose one domain related to your deity. Your choice grants you domain spells and other features that you can choose at first level. It also grants you additional ways to use channel divinity when you gain that feature at second level, and additional benefits at 6th, 8th, and 17th level. Here they just talk in 2024 rules, they're just talking about the divine order. You have dedicated yourself to one of the following sacred roles of your choice. Hey everybody, Dan from the future. I'm editing this video and I just wanted to jump in and say something really quick about the divine order in the 2024 rules. So specifically, it says you have dedicated yourself to one of the following sacred roles of your choice, and you have two options. You have a protector, and you have a thaumaturgy, or thaumaturge. If you choose the protector divine order, you are trained for battle. You gain proficiency with martial weapons and training with heavy armor. If you choose thaumaturge, you know one extra cantrip from the cleric spell list. In addition, your mystical connection to the divine gives you a bonus to your intelligence checks. The bonus equals your wisdom modifier. And then essentially just allows you to pick another cantrip. So just wanted to jump in and give you that a little additional information on the divine orders in the 2024 rulebooks. Back to the video. See, domain spells. Each domain, this is from 2014, domain spells. Each domain has a list of spells, its domain spells, that you gain as a cleric. Levels noted in the domain description. Once you gain a domain spell, you always have it prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare each day. If you have a domain spell that doesn't appear on the cleric spell list, the spell is nonetheless a cleric spell for you. So in certain cases, perfect example, if you're a light cleric, you might have access to Fireball. I don't think that's a cleric spell, it's a wizard spell, but it counts as a cleric spell for you. 2014. All right, let's jump to second level channel divinity, see if there's anything different here. In 2014, at second level, you gain the ability to channel divine energy directly from your deity, using the energy to fuel magical effects. You start with two such effects, turn undead, and an effect determined by your domain. Some domains grant an additional effects as you advance in levels, as noted in the domain description. When you use your channel divinity, you choose which effect to create. You must then finish a short or long rest to use your channel divinity again. Some channel divinity effects require saving throws. When you use such an effect from this class, the DC equals your cleric spell saving DC. Beginning in 6th level, you can use your channel divinity twice between rests, and beginning at 18th level, you can use it 3 times between rests. When you finish a short or long rest, you regain the expended uses. 2024. You can channel divine energy directly from the outer planes to fuel magical effects. You start with 2 such effects, Divine Spark and Turn Undead, each of which is described below. Each time you use the class's channel divinity, choose which channel divinity effect from this class to create. You gain additional effect options at the higher cleric levels. You can use this class's channel divinity twice. You regain one of its expended uses when you finish a short rest. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. You gain additional uses when you reach certain cleric levels, as shown in the channel divinity column of the cleric features table. If the channel divinity effect requires a saving throw, the DC equals the spell save DC from your class's spell casting feature. Okay, let's do a little bit of a comparison here. Let's do a little comparison, comparing and contrasting. Obviously, the first thing that jumps out at me is 2014, you had Turn Undead and then your domain ability. 2024, you have Divine Spark and Turn Undead. We'll take a look at that here in a minute to see what the difference is and exactly what is Divine Spark. In 2014, I did see that you can only use it once, correct? Yeah. So in 2014, when you use your channel divinity, you choose which effect to create. You must then finish a short or long rest to use your channel divinity again. 2024, you can use the class's channel divinity twice. You regain one of its expended uses when you finish a short rest, and you gain all when you finish a long rest. So you can use, in 2024, you can use your channel divinity twice before taking a short rest. And then with a short rest, you regain one. So between long rest, you can actually use channel divinity potentially up to 3 times if you take a short rest. With 2014, you basically could use it twice, because you could use it once, take a short rest, get that back, and then use it again. So you get one extra use. potentially they're giving us options to use it more often because of, I guess, what we're going to look at now. Let's take a look at Divine Spark. Divine Spark. As a magic action, you point your holy symbol at another creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself and focus divine energy at it. Roll 1d8 and add your wisdom modifier. You either restore hit points to the creature equal to that total, or force the creature to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes necrotic or radiant damage, your choice, equal to that total. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage, round down. You roll an additional d8 when you reach cleric spells of 7, 13, and 18. Wow. So Divine Spark gives you either a free heal spell or a free, and I shouldn't say free, it's not free. It doesn't, it's Divine Spark gives you the ability to heal or to attack without using a spell or a spell slot. Something to keep in mind, this is not a spell. It can't be counterspelled, which could really make a difference when you're 13th level and you can do 3d8 damage, and that can't be counterspelled. Or you can heal 3d8 hit points, and that can't be counterspelled or stopped. It's because it's not a spell. It's a surge of energy from your deity. That's a cool new enhancement, which now really makes sense why they've given you an extra use of it during a long rest. Let's see, is there any difference in turn undead? All right, 2014 turn undead is, as an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer censoring the undead. Each undead you can see and hear within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. If the creature fails its saving throw, it is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. Everyone needs to remember that. A turned creature must spend its turn trying to move as far away as it can, and it can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. It also can't take reactions. For its action, it can only take the dash action or try to escape from the effect that prevents it from moving. There's nowhere to move, the creature can use the dodge action. 2024. Let's see, has anything changed with turn undead? As a magic action, not a spell, but a magic action, you present your holy symbol and censor undead creatures. Each undead of your choice within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. If the creature fails its save, it has the frightened and incapacitated conditions for 1 minute. For that duration, it tries to move as far away as it can from you on its turn. The effect ends early on the creature if it takes any damage, if you have the incapacitated condition, or you die. So it's basically the same. Let's see. I mean, other than they did apply specifically what conditions are affecting it. So you would go to, as opposed to it telling you in the description of turn undead that it can't willingly move to space within you and within 30 feet of you, which kind of is the frightened condition, and the fact that it can't take reactions, the fact that it can move, which I guess is more tied to the frightened, the incapacitated condition, I think, is what keeps it from being able to attack and things like that. So just a little tweak to the wording, I think, and maybe a little bit more general, giving you more description and applying the actual conditions to turn undead to the undead that have been affected by it. Overall, it looks like turn undead is pretty much very similar. We'll see if it increases in power like it has in the 2014 Cleric. But that Divine Spark, I think just based on Divine Spark, 2014 wins the channel divinity. For me, anyway. Okay, so I think this is actually one of the big changes where, if I'm correct, in 2014, you choose your domain at level 1. You are now choosing, which your domain being essentially your subclass. Now, as with all classes in the 2024 rulebook, you choose your subclass at 3rd level. That's across the board now. So what we're seeing here with 2024 at 3rd level is where you gain a cleric subclass of your choice. The subclass is a specialization that grants you features at certain cleric levels. Yeah, so if you look at in 2014, your divine domain, your choice grants you domain spells and other features that you choose at the 1st level. This affect your subclass at 3rd level. So that's a significant change. I think it's a balancing choice they made across all classes to make 2024 to make it where you get your subclass at 3rd level across the board, all classes. Probably will make it a little bit easier for newer players to understand this is when we're going to do it. I think it's also why I've heard, I haven't read this, but I have heard, and I think I actually heard Jeremy Crawford say it on one of his videos, that they're recommending now that characters start at 3rd level. I don't think I agree with that, and it's purely a character development role-playing reason. I like starting at 1st level from a role-playing standpoint, because you've got basically a noob who really doesn't know anything about what they're doing and can start growing, and you really start learning the class as you start at 1st level. It's a slower progression, but it also allows you to learn the class a lot faster. To me, that doesn't affect 3rd class versus getting my class at 1st class, but that could be something that people would think is they're taking away something with the cleric class. Leave a comment. Let me know. Do you think not being able to pick your subclass until 3rd level for a cleric at this point is a nerf of the cleric class? I don't know. Let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. So let's jump up to 4th level. Mentions this in another video, but ability score improvement in 2014 is a function to its own, and then if the DM allows, you can now have feats. In 2024, the ability score improvement is a feat. So feats are now an integral part of character development and design. So now you're going to be able to do either an ability score improvement feat or a different feat that you're eligible for. I like that. I like that improvement. I think most cases, a lot of people are still going to see the ability score improvement feat is the best thing to do for the first few levels. But honestly, that's a player choice, because there are some really cool feats out there. I'm guilty. I love taking feats. But at 4th level, just like with 2014, you get to make that choice. Here's a change between 2014 and 2024. With 2014, and this is what I was talking about, does turn undead increase like it did for 2014. At 5th level, you get destroy undead. Starting at 5th level, when an undead fails its saving throw against your turn undead feature, the creature is instantly destroyed if its challenge rating is below a certain threshold, as shown in the destroy undead table, which is listed here. So at 5th level, if it's a CR 1/2 or lower, you obliterate it. 8th level, 1 or lower. 11th, 2 or lower. 14th, 3 or lower. 17th level, 4 or lower. CR 4 or lower level, you obliterate it. And it's not just one, it's any of them in a 30-foot sphere or 30-foot radius away from you. If they fail their saving throw, they are just turned to ash. I always love that. I love the cinematic feel of it. So let's look at 2024 and see if it has the same cinematic feel. At 5th level on 2024, you have what's called Seer Undead. Whenever you use Turn Undead, you roll a number of d8s equal to your Wisdom modifier and add the rolls together. Each undead that fails its saving throw against that use of Turn Undead takes radiant damage equal to the roll's total. This damage doesn't end the turn effect. All right. So I'm going to read this again slower. Let's dissect this a little bit. Whenever you use Turn Undead, you can roll a number of d8s equal to your Wisdom modifier. So let's say your Wisdom modifier is 3. You can roll 3d8. Just for ease, let's say you max out damage, 24 hit points, and add the rolls together. Each undead, it does not say an undead of any specific CR. So each undead that fails its saving throw against the use of Turn Undead takes radiant damage equal to the roll's total. So in our example, you roll max damage, you get 24. Every undead from a skeleton to a lich within your Turn Undead that fails its saving throw, I know a lich probably won't fail its saving throw, but each undead that fails takes 24 points of radiant damage. That's pretty awesome. I don't know if it's better than Destroy Undead, because you could roll a 3 and not do enough damage to destroy a skeleton. But I'm going to say that's almost a tie. Destroy Undead probably has more cinematic feel to it. But Seer Undead, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's move down. Once again, at 8th level, ability score improvement or ability score feat. I think this is going to show us all. One thing, ability score improvements. Just want to make a note of this again. In 2014, you got ability score improvements in most cases at 4th level, 8th level, 12th level, 16th level, and then again in 19th level. 2024, you're getting the ability to do a score improvement feat at 4, 8, 12, it's just 16. No longer you have the 19, but for good reason, which we'll look at here in just a few minutes. All right, so in the 2014 rules, we go straight to a 10th level ability, but let's not skip our 7th level ability that I see here on the 2024 rules. You get Blessed Strikes. Blessed Strikes is divine power infuses you in battle. You gain one of the following options of your choice. If you get either option from a Cleric subclass in an older book, use only the option you choose for this feature. So what I'm getting from that is if you're using an old class, but you want to get the Blessed Strike, but you're getting one of these features, you basically have to take that. So your two options are Divine Strike. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon, you can cause the target to take an extra 1d8 necrotic or radiant damage of your choice. So once each turn, you can do additional 1d8 damage. Potent Spell Casting. Add your Wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any Cleric cantrip. That's pretty cool. So at level 7, you can start adding your Wisdom modifier to your cantrip damage. That's cool. All right. I love this ability. I loved it in 2014. Let's see if it changed in 2024. 2014, Divine Intervention. Beginning at 10th level, you can call on your deity to intervene on your behalf if your need is great. Imploring your deity's aid requires you to use your action. Describe the assistance you seek and roll a percentile dice. If you roll a number equal to or lower than your cleric level, your deity intervenes. It does happen, folks. Happened for me once. The DM chooses the nature of the intervention. The effect of any cleric spell or cleric domain spell would be appropriate. If your deity intervenes, you can't use this feature again for 7 days. Otherwise, you can use it again after you finish a long rest. At 20th level, your call for intervention succeeds automatically, no roll required. Divine intervention now for 2024 is you can call on your deity or pantheon to intervene on your behalf. As a magic action, choose any cleric spell of level 5 or lower that doesn't require a reaction to cast. As part of the same action, you cast that spell without expending a spell slot or needing material components. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. Okay, so you're at 10th level. You're in a dire situation, and your cleric reaches up, lifts up their holy symbol, and calls upon their deity. And at no cost, as long as it's not a reaction to cast it, they can cast a level 5 spell free of charge once a day. That is a very cool feature. Is it as exciting as rolling a percentile dice and seeing if your god will intervene? Maybe not. And I only say that because I was playing in the Tomb of Annihilation. We were fighting a Cleric, and I think it was level 13 Cleric did divine intervention, and I rolled a 1. It was epic. It was an epic cinematic, just awesome moment for me and all my friends that we were playing together. That being said, it doesn't happen very often. And would I have, if it had failed, I would have wasted my action in a fight against a Cleric. Sorry, spoiler warning if you're going to play Tomb of Annihilation. I think he's on the front of the book, though. Would I have rather been able to have just for free cost cast, and let me see, it's choose any cleric spell of level 5 or lower that doesn't require an action. So it doesn't even have to be a spell you've prepared. It can be any 5th level cleric spell. I'm going to call that a tie for different reasons, but it's definitely not a nerf. I think that's a cool option. Divine intervention at 10th level. All right. Okay, so in 2014, for purely the cleric class, that's kind of the end of the abilities. Let's see. What else do we have going on 2024, though? At 14th level, we have improved Blessed Strikes. The option you choose for Blessed Strikes grows more powerful. Hey guys, it's Dan from the future again. It was a little bit difficult to find what is the more powerful improved Blessed Strike. So jumped out into the 2024 Player's Handbook, and here's what improved Blessed Strikes does for you. The option you choose for Blessed Strikes grows more powerful. Divine Strike. The extra damage from your Divine Strike increases to 2d8. This is at level 14. Potent Spell Casting. Now, to me, this is really a more cool use of it. When you cast a cleric cantrip and deal damage to a creature with it, you can give vitality to yourself or another creature within 60 feet of yourself, granting a number of temporary hit points equal to twice your wisdom modifier. So, at level 14, with your improved Blessed Strikes, you can either give out some temporary hit points or do additional damage. there you go. Back to the video. Ability, score improvement. And here's what I was talking about with, in 2014, at level 19, you would get another ability score improvement, or you had the ability to do that. Now you have what are called epic boons. It's an epic boon feat. You're at level 19, you're being blessed by some deity. All classes are going to get this. They are really making a point to make level 19, level 20 a lot more interesting. My hope is that means there's going to be a lot more higher level content than there has been since 2014. That being said, watch the channel because we're going to do a video on the epic boons and go over each one of them line by line. Stick around. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. You don't want to miss that video that we do. All right. So the last thing, let's see, we'll talk about here, I think, is going to be at level 20. You get greater divine intervention. So we mentioned in 2014, at level 20, your divine intervention goes off instantly, no roll required. 2024, you can call on even more powerful divine intervention. When you use your divine intervention at level 20, you can choose wish when you select the spell. If you do so, you can't use divine intervention again until you finish 2d4 long rest. But you can cast the wish spell as a cleric at 20th level. And potentially be able to do it again in 2 days. Could be 8 days. That's awesome. I don't have anything else to say. So, let's just take a quick look here. See if it says anything else that we need to look at. No. All right, so really quick, and I'm not really touching on subclasses in these videos, but I just want to take a quick look at, let's see, if we look at this is the 2014 Divine Domains. And this is, this is in 2014 at first level is where you would pick your domain, which would basically your subclass that you would choose. Your death domain, knowledge domain, life, light domain. Love me some light clerics. Nature, tempest, trickery, war domain. See here. I'm gonna have to bump myself up to 3rd level here. And here in 2024 is where it allows you, so that the core 2024 domains are your life domain, light domain, trickery domain, and war domain. It will still allow you to pick legacy domains, however. So it's going to just include those 2014 rules. All right, I think that's it, guys. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. You know the drill. It helps us a lot. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s.
Yo, progressive D&D, we the finest. Dungeons deep, dragons big, ain't no blindness. Roll the dice, take a chance, feel the kindness. Your goals rise, build small, break the silence. Every week, new quest, new alliance. From the battles to the quest to defiance. Be a rogue or a mage, show your science. Follow us, don't be late, pure reliance.